What's up, everyone? Monday, episode 6, right? Or 6 or 7, I think.
6, 7, something like that. Welcome back, boys. Good to see everybody again. Who we got?
Is this the fourth or fifth one that we've done with this group? Or was it only like the third or fourth, maybe?
My bad. Yeah. Everything. Yeah, exactly.
Always.
Yeah.
It's always Miles. See, Elijah, Elizabeth, Garrett, Writer's Block, what up?
Miles the best.
Very professional stream we got going on at the start. Yeah, good to see everybody. Let us know what questions we can answer about Amazon. Probably go for 45 minutes or so. And yeah, should be party. How's everybody's biz today?
Good. My Q4 guide I dropped. Absolutely fire.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That looked awesome.
Is it pumping?
Let's see how many people are reading it as we speak here. Let's see. I'll link it for you guys too. And it's going to be q4secretsauce.com, but the redirect didn't load yet, but it's going to be q4secretsauce.com. Sign up for BQ over the weekend with the affiliate link. Yeah, guys, like as long as you have like 10 plus ASINs, you do want to be using a repricer. So Warner and I have our BQ links in the description if you want.
The redirect works, by the way.
Boys. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Q4secretsauce.com. It just shows me coming soon, like under construction.
Yeah, that's what it shows me.
Okay. It shows me a Google Doc.
Yeah, either way.
Maybe because I've opened the Google Doc already, so I don't know.
Okay, here we go. With 0 to FBM, if I print the label the day the order comes and ship the next morning, is that considered late? If someone complains, yes, but especially like post-pandemic, like no one really cares. So you're going to have to do that from time to time just based off the circumstances of it. But the potential consequences that rarely will ever be a thing are completely worth the extra buy box share, wealth accumulation, and confidence accumulation that comes as a result of that.
For sure. Do you like to do FBA and FBM on the same listing? Yeah, for sure. That's like the biggest advantage of doing all this stuff yourself, like keeping it all in house, is you list like 25% of the inventory merchant fulfilled, sell that all through until by the time the FBA stuff checks in, you're making sales that way.
Yeah, it's super common to have a FBA offer and an FBM offer, especially if you've got your own warehouse. Oh
my gosh, yeah, because you get so much extra buy box share. So Stallion, don't worry about your health score, honestly. Like 600 units in 4 months. Yeah, don't worry about it at all. Like it's not like I think you have to have had an account for like 6 months to even get it pretty good.
Yeah, something like that. That and the IPI score. It doesn't. Neither one of them really matter.
Yeah. We do have potential restock limit Armageddon.
Actually, that said, this particular month is the only month that it matters. I was even tweeting about that. Like this month, your IPI needs to be good. Like you need to sell through your junk because like this month is usually what they decide your Q4 limits based on.
Yeah, the nice thing is unless you're already doing like over 20K a month, you really don't have to worry about it. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like keep doing your thing and you'll be good to go.
So Jordan said, can you get ungated later when it's written you do not qualify? So I assume it's saying you do not qualify probably because the ASIN is restricted. So is it not even giving you the option to apply for ungating? If so, then either that brand or more often than not, it's usually that specific ASIN is restricted. So you won't be able to ever get ungated in it. And unless Amazon unrestricts that listing, but they don't usually do that.
That's with stuff like Apple. I think Uggs is like that too. Like some of the big
a lot of brands. Yeah. It's at the ASIN level a lot of times too. Cause for example, we're ungated to sell a lot of different Gillette ASINs. So there's certain Gillette ASINs we can sell no problem. And then there's certain other Gillette ASINs where we're gated and we can't even apply to get ungated, right? We're restricted. It says, you do not qualify. You can't even apply basically.
I remember you were fiending for the Gillette at ASD, Corey.
Yeah. We bought a lot of it, and we bought a lot more too since from the same supplier.
Cool. So you can't. Oh well, I think you can ask people to review. I definitely wouldn't. You definitely can't ask for a 5-star review.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, and okay, cool. Yeah, so just don't do it. Period. Don't do it. It's not worth like if
it's pretty risky.
Yeah.
Also, unless it's your private label, it's completely pointless. Like for wholesale or OA, complete waste of time.
Unless you don't have any feedback, but like that's just a volume game.
Well, then you would use like an autoresponder, like a seller board. You would never include anything in the actual, like packaging itself.
Bro, like years ago, like in the first couple of months, I was doing a lot of FBM, and I had a little printout that I put in all the packages, within like 2 weeks, I got a ding on the account. They're like, "Oh, you can't include it." I was like, "How did they even find out?" I had no idea.
Boomer.
I thought you were about to say that within 2 weeks you had like 20 feedback or something. I was
No,
like,
no,
oh,
none.
wow.
I didn't get any. But
Yeah, Amazon customers don't care.
but I don't even know how they found out though. That was the weird thing, and it was like
That is
so
wild.
quick.
I definitely did an insert that was not allowed when I was a kid trying to.
I think I offered like a
like a
$10 gift card or something,
that's
like
funny.
something. I forget what it was.
I put a note in the box of like a super expensive like photo scanner that we sold that was like, message me here if you need anything. In other words, don't return this. I'm a college kid. You just give me $500.
Don't return.
Best things to track for each purchase, redoing my master sheets, and want to ensure I implement everything worthwhile. I mean, obviously, the two big things are going to be velocity and profit, right? Those are going to be the two main indicators. And ultimately, how stable the product is, right? You can compare the current buy box to the historical buy box. The more those align, the more stable the product, right? So if you go into the data tab, it shows the 30-day, 90-day, and the current buy box. The more those three numbers are aligned, the better off the product, right? What we really want to avoid, and this is where kind of like the leads list era comes back to bite us, is a lot of the leads lists are based on current day data, right? So they'll send out a bunch of products where the current buy box is super high, but then if you looked at the 30 or 90-day buy box, those are a lot lower. So we really definitely want to get a sense of where a product has been to use that information to forecast where it will go in conjunction with a lot of the other things, of course, that we talk about in terms of where the offer count's going, where it has been, supply, all those things.
Yeah, and I think too, right, besides your buy cost and like you'll know how the purchase goes, anything that's a home run, you're going to remember because you're really excited about it. And typically the really beneficial stuff is going to be like what sale was going on or what coupon was going on. And if something like it's not a bad idea to write that stuff down and definitely have a big master coupon sheet, what websites offer what discounts. You can reference back to that right there. But honestly, I wouldn't too much worry about tracking stuff because anything that's worth tracking, what makes it worth tracking is that you're going to remember it because you're excited about it, like different coupons, on your favorite sites for the most part.
The big thing to add on to that is seasonal stuff, right? If you find a good seasonal product for any of the coming holidays this year, make sure you use a spreadsheet. Obviously, SellerAmp helps with that, but make a spreadsheet pertinent to that specific holiday, right? Because I talk about this a bunch. Next year, the same holiday as it comes, well, a lot of times, especially with some of the retail sites, online retail sites that we buy from, that product probably will still be there, and it'll probably be showing the same sorts of characteristics that you found interesting in that first month, right? So the sales velocity increasing, price point increasing, offer count decreasing as the holiday approaches. All those things make those seasonal products really good. And a lot of them, if you look back in the Keepa charts, do the same sorts of things year after year, year after year, year after year.
And Christmas is a great example of that. Like, there's so many items you're gonna be able to buy 100 of, where usually you'd only buy 50. Just like seeing how it did last year. I was also seeing somebody asking a question about some different multi-tools. Both of those tools are actively copying features of SellerAmp, so you should probably just use SellerAmp instead. Kind of the top of the line in terms of multi-tools they're saying.
Good weight limit for an item going Q4 FBM. I don't want to get screwed with shipping charges. The nice thing is it is incredibly hard to get screwed on shipping charges because FBA and FBM fees are so similar, right? FBA fees you pay if you FBA an item, you pay FBA fees. You don't pay individual shipping. If you FBM an item, you do pay individual shipping. You don't pay FBM fees. Both of those are based on or FBA fees. Both of those are based on size and weight. Right. If you go to q4secretsauce.com, which may or may not work, it'll definitely work if you're watching this like tomorrow. There's a full FBM shipping cost guide in there. So that's how you'll know what you need to pay for stuff. Okay, it doesn't actually work, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's still not working for me.
I don't know why it works for me.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna link it though, and I'm also just gonna copy and paste it too, because like the actual like guide of the shipping cost, just because like people need to know that.
Somebody had a question earlier. I think it's a good question. So Carlos asked, how reliable is Google reviews with wholesale suppliers? Some of your best ones, are they under 3 or 4 stars, or do some bad ones have, he said 5 stars. I assume he means 1 star. So when it comes to like the actual like quality of the Google reviews, kind of irrelevant. I mean, at the end of the day, the only people that are going to leave Google reviews for a distributor are either going to be like disgruntled employees or just like random people. as long as the reviews don't say like, hey, this company's a scam, or they took my money and didn't fulfill my order. Like if those types of reviews, obviously avoid. Other than that, it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
There's
and
other due diligence that you can do though to validate, right? Ask for pictures of the warehouse. Look on Google Maps. Obviously, the email address they're emailing from. Call them, vibe them out. Visit the warehouse if it's close. All those.
And I wrote
things
sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I even wrote a thread today, literally on how, like my top 3 ways to confirm that suppliers are legit. I wrote a thread on it today, and I also posted a YouTube video on it today, expanding on it slightly. So yeah, it's my YouTube video from today, my thread from today. I literally dissect this entire issue. Sorry, Garrett, I apologize for cutting you off.
In short, don't buy from Telegram.
Yeah, that's, I mean, honestly, guys, that is like the overwhelmingly most common question I get when it comes to supplier authenticity is, hey, I found this supplier on XYZ. They're based out of wherever, but they operate via Telegram and their pricing's pretty good. What do you think? Usually 99% of the time, it's going to be a scam. Not to say you're going to get scammed on that specific deal, but these Telegram suppliers, a lot of times the quality of their product is sketchy. So it only takes one counterfeit buy or one bad buy from one of these guys to get your entire account shut down, obviously wiping out any profit you made with them beforehand. So general rule of thumb, don't buy off Telegram. Have
you ever had success with distributors or websites that provide the Amazon information?
Yeah, actually we have. It is kind of hit or miss, right? Because when you think about it, if they've got the ASIN and they know how to price against Amazon competitive, or not competitively, but if they know how to do that, right, then chances are they know exactly how much you're going to be making. They're going to be, usually the pricing is going to be a little worse. But at the same time, I mean, we've had suppliers that sometimes they'll send us an ASIN and maybe it's not even the right ASIN. We do a little digging and it's like, oh, they just found the first one they could find. And maybe we found like a 4-pack ASIN, right? That's way more profitable. So they thought that they were only leaving us, let's say $2 in profit. Yeah. We found another listing where we can make a lot more. So them providing an ASIN is a double-edged sword. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
I don't know.
In general, bad though, I'd say.
So I've seen a ton in beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And in
very
my
common
opinion,
in beauty.
What's up?
Yeah. Very common in beauty, yeah.
And this may be just like a biased opinion, but I feel like it's a way that distributors try and mask like fake products, right? It's just because it's essentially them like connecting the people who want that product with the supply that they know is going to be profitable without having the risk of actually having to fulfill you know what I'm saying?
You're saying with the risk of like their Amazon account getting shut down. Like basically they'd rather make a quick 50 cents or $1 per unit, wholesaling it all to you. And so that you can then turn around and take all the risk by selling on Amazon in return for maybe a $3 or $4 profit per unit, right? I mean, their model.
Yeah, it's just less risk. Like both models are smart. They're playing a volume game. We're playing a slower, higher.
Yeah, because if I'm a distributor that knows I can acquire a certain product from somewhere at a very profitable rate, and I also am aware of the Amazon space and I know it's profitable. Well, if I just simply connect the two, right, then I mean that's a business model in and of itself without any risk of actually having to worry about that end result.
Yeah. I mean, that's like that's the wholesale, like the wholesalers, that's their model in a nutshell. They'd rather make a quick dime. Sorry, they'd rather make a quick nickel than wait another couple months for a slow dime, right?
What is Telegram? Don't worry about it.
If you don't know, you're
it's like a decentralized like messaging platform that a lot of the scams on the internet live on. But it does operate internationally, so like that's a great thing. But yeah.
So Instagram, their like new broadcast feature, I mean, it's kind of mimicking Telegram, right? Because isn't all Telegram, all it is you join a channel and one person can basically broadcast messages to everybody in that channel.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that it like the quality is anything similar, but
no, the quality is very, very good. It's very, very good.
Of Instagram or Telegram?
Yeah, I did well broadcast
in the right ones. Yeah.
Right.
Miles and I both have some channels.
Yeah, I jumped in both of yours.
Lost G-body. I'm trying to get some unfulfillable products returned to me. It won't allow me. It says NA products not available for removal. Call Amazon, Carmen. That shouldn't be a thing. FTC lawsuit on Amazon. Don't worry about it.
Nothing's going to happen.
Make more money.
There's no shot that Amazon is going to be the one to lose this type of court case. There's no way. And even if something were to change, it would be good for sellers. because their main complaint is that they're screwing sellers over and they're copying sellers' products.
Okay, this is an incredibly good question. Sold several products on a listing and now the brand is on the listing. I haven't received any IP complaints, but now that I'm finished selling, should I delete the listing to prevent the potential IP? Absolutely. That's a fantastic analysis, man. That's a perfect analysis right there. Now, they might never IP, right? But you're going to be able, whoa. Oh, okay. So, all right. That wasn't me. It wasn't Garrett.
It was a motorcycle driving by. I couldn't get to the mute button.
So yeah, that's why they might never IP complain you, but they probably will, and you'll be able to see that, but definitely delete that listing and track it over time.
And realistically, the only way, so if you've sold through and you don't have any more of that product, the only way you even could get an IP complaint for that listing at this point is if somebody returned that product, it went back into your FBA inventory. So you're back on that listing, but you've only got one unit in stock. The brand happens to notice in that short window and issues you an IP complaint. AKA the chances are very, very small. But yeah, if you never plan on selling that product again and the brand is now the only seller on that listing, it'll take you 2 seconds to delete that listing and save yourself some potential risk.
Okay. Should I just run up one ace and if it does good for me? No, because you shouldn't really have to choose. Now, I want you to squeeze the wealth out of that ace, Isaac. Very, very, squeeze it right there, right? But do other stuff too, man.
Somebody
Brett said, first rule of Telegram Club, don't talk about Telegram Club.
Yeah,
that's funny. Also, somebody keeps spamming that their margins are low and everyone's making fun of them.
Yeah.
He sold his first 37K, obviously not the highest profit in the world, and then you're throwing it in, Rod. Sounds like he's throwing it in after not making $1 million after just starting.
Most sellers typically stay beneath 100K. When is it best to go past that and expand into 125K and so on? Super good question there. When the keep it chart looks good, man. For whatever reason, there's going to be certain listings. Maybe they're in one of the larger categories, home and kitchen, shoes and clothing, for example, where the keep it chart still looks good. It has reviews. You can see oscillation in the offer count. You can see that the price isn't just shooting down, right? You can see there's movement on it. That's going to be a great thing to go after. You're just going to have to, be able to take a look at the keep it chart and make a good decision based off that. Because also, too, something can be in 120 rank, but a week ago it could have been 75 right there. So it's going to be based on the historical rank too. For example, it's the range of you want to stay below the range of 120, right? 110 consistently getting below that.
And to add to that, so I wouldn't even let sales rank be a criteria for your sourcing decisions, right? You want to look at how much profit is this product going to make me per month. If it's ranked 300K and you're only going to sell 1 unit per month, but you're making a $200 profit per unit, for example, then sales rank shouldn't matter. It's all about profit. But another thing to add to that too is some of our best listings, some of our most profitable products we've ever carried didn't have any FBA sellers on it. So the listing was at 200K, 250K, sometimes even a 300K rank or higher. But because it was only FBM offers on the listing and the product was priced so high, so if we were to jump on the listing at the current buy box price, we'd be making 40% margin, 200% ROI, crazy returns. So instead, what we can do is jump on the listing, drop our price to maybe, an 80% ROI, 20% margin, right? Still very good, very profitable. But now we took that sales rank from 250K down to 30, 40, 50K consistently. So we're making a lot more money a lot quicker. And we're the only FBA seller on the listing, so we dominate the buy box. So again, if you filter out, especially if you're using a scanning tool, filtering out products with a high sales rank, you can miss a ton of good, really good long-term products by doing that.
Very, very well said right there. Okay, boom. My favorite question on planet Earth to answer the next 90 days right here. No lies. Actually, how do I increase FBM sales? Number one, once you're over 10 ASINs, use a repricer. We have a repricer free trial link in the description. I have a video on my channel too. Number two, move your shipping times to 0-day handling time to start. You're not going to do that forever. If you have to ship the next day occasionally, that's completely fine. Only sell on listings FBM that you see other people listed FBM on right there. Buy shipping through Amazon. But the big things are going to be the repricer and the 0-day handling time, making sure you're priced where other people are getting the buy box FBM right there.
If your item's dangerous goods, will that mean it take longer to get to the warehouse? No. So, kind of, I guess, in a way, but not you have to ship it through a different method, which usually will be a little bit slower, but you're going to have to ship it via Pirate Ship or one of those. You can't use partnered shipping for for hazmat, but it is a great category to break into, especially if you already got approval. Tons of money to be made there.
That's a good, and that's a real mindset, Stallion, or no, not Stallion, Big Neek 469, right? You're thinking the right thing, right? And that's when your capital is limited, you have to really maximize what you're doing with that capital, right? It's the whole discussion of opportunity cost, right? The less money you have, the more profit you need to look for, the faster turnaround times you need to earn, right? You don't have the luxury to sit on a product for 2 months when you only have $2,000 to play with. Now, in a year or two, when you have maybe $50,000 to play with, well, maybe you can tie 5,000, 6,000 of that in some really heavy hitters that are going to bring back 30% margin in 2-3 months. But especially when you're getting going, speed is of the utmost importance, as well as high profitability. That's why FBM is going to be huge.
Sweet. Okay, chat's getting lit. Well, should we do a little lightning round action here?
Sure.
I don't think you'll even be able to enroll in seller fulfilled Prime Stallion. I honestly wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, man.
No.
Yeah,
That's for like if you have like a big warehouse, like a very legit business employees, you can do seller fulfilled Prime.
So yeah, I have a video on BQL. Warner has a video on BQL too. Just watch both those and you'll be good to go. It's the same thing as FBA repricing.
So Loria said on Amazon, it says I'm a new seller. How should I get rid of that? So that just means that you have 0 feedback yet. I think it still says like new seller.
Just join.
So as soon as you get literally 1 feedback, then that'll go away.
No, well, so occasionally, right? It's more so, it's not the delivery date, it's when you ship it by. And honestly, it's when you buy the shipping label by, to get even completely more specific. Do that just here and there. You can set the cutoff time early in the morning, right? But it's the key with that is it's not necessarily to make a ton of money in the short term. It's to get yourself moving in the FBM buy box algorithm is the big thing, is the way I see it right there. Because that can be 4 days, that can be a week, that can maybe be a month, it depends. But you want to get out of that as quick as possible, but you want to get in there.
For sure. Francesca said you're doing a bunch of like used media and stuff. That's awesome. I'm sure that's a high margin for you. I would not use reprice it for OA and all that though. We use B cool is a little more precise. I used reprice it back in the day too, but I
use it for books too.
Yeah, everyone did. It's everyone's first repricer.
The first one,
Yeah.
I would definitely switch though.
Yeah. I'll drop my BQ link in the chat. How to get approved brands. Go to the auto ungate guide that I dropped this week on my YouTube, and anyone watching this can go ahead and get ungated in 100+ brands today for free. Right there.
So this person asked, can I make an FBM listing and place orders on my own listing and give myself reviews? No. I mean, I'm theoretically maybe you could, but you would get shut down.
Yeah. Chad buys his own product.
When using multiple discounted gift cards. We've definitely done that with Danny at some point to like ship things.
Cheap. That was so genius. That was so genius.
I mean, we had to like ship something super, super cheap to like one of the 3 of us. We would just list something like extraordinarily expensive. And we'd buy it for like a cent and then get the discounted shipping through Amazon.
Oh, that's funny.
Don't do that though. Like looking back, that was pretty risky. But
there's no way that's even allowed. Like
no. And then you'd use the label and put whatever we needed to ship.
That's how broke we were.
That is funny.
We just list like a million ranking like whatever and
book, and then I would buy it, and then Danny had to ship. It was the scanner back in the day, I think.
And then we'd always leave feedback. Anyways, using multiple discounted gift cards that have different discount rates. Oh, now we're getting technical.
Ooh, I like this stuff. This is smart. Yeah.
When calculating COGS, do you calculate the weighted average?
You should have a list of all the dollars that you've bought. So at the end of the year, you can just take that as a profit difference. Instead of having to worry about each individual COGS tracker, just give yourself a profit of whatever you bought so you can pay taxes on that.
Warner's thinking. I was not going to say something like that.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, you like, ladies and gents, you want to be buying inventory during Q4 and like not even like, as long as you should be buying the same item from multiple websites, it's profitable on both. Like, don't worry about that. Just squeeze the wealth. We'll figure out the rest of that later. Right there.
Joe said, what would you say the best tool is for gaining more seller feedback? So there's tools like Feedback Genius is one that we used for a long time, but now since we already are using Sellerboard, we just use the autoresponder feature within Sellerboard, which just comes included with even the most basic plan. And I think we have it set up to where 7 days after Amazon marks the order is delivered, it sends them an email And so they can one click leave I think a product rating, and one click leave us a seller review as well.
It's actually
It'll still be
Sellerboard
super
actually
rare.
helped a ton.
Oh, since we switched from Feedback Genius to Sellerboard, we've gotten probably like almost 50% more feedback. And I think part of it is just like the template Sellerboard uses is just way more concise.
Yeah, it's just the Amazon default. So like completely TOS. Like Amazon gives you that template. There's a button on your seller. Like anytime you have an order, you can say request feedback, and Sellerboard just automating that button.
But so I had gone from no feedback requester to Sellerboard, and it's night and day.
Yeah.
Does OA work the best for shoes?
Yeah. Or RA. You can't really do wholesale for that stuff.
Yeah, there's very few out there for shoes. And if they are shoes, then a bunch of them would be fake too. So it's a minefield on that. Best way to handle price tanking. That's a super common question. I'm sure Miles has a video on it. I definitely have a video on my channel. Probably even Corey probably has a video. We probably all have videos on price tanking. But buy stuff where other people can't, right? So whether that's wholesale, you're using multiple layers of discount, it's a fast selling product, all that's going to help, right? So the harder it is to find, or the faster it's selling, the harder it is going to be to tank.
FBM too. Yeah.
Yeah. If
One
you're first to the punch, yeah.
One of my favorite strategies for, I guess, combating price tanking, especially going into Q4, or especially going into a season where a particular product is going to start selling really well. So there's one product, we've been carrying it for 3 years. This happens every Q4 like clockwork. Very high volume product, 10 to 12 sellers on the listing. Going into Q4, because it spikes during Q4, the price tanks almost to break even, slightly below. So we'll set our minimum price at our repricer to be very high. We'll let everybody else sell through at break even or slightly below. And then in the 2 to 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, we'll put our minimum not as high, but still pretty high, and sell pretty much blow out our entire stock in 3 to 4 weeks at a much higher price point.
Was that not the best thing you've ever heard? Was that not the best thing you've ever heard? Look at the private chat. Well, why
Really
why
funny.
would you do FBM instead of FBA? So with FBM, you can sell stuff way quicker, right? So rather than waiting for it to check in at the Amazon warehouse, you can just move it a lot quicker. But the key is that you're not always going to get the buy box FBM, but some products you're going to be able to. And the nice thing is you can just look if other people are getting the buy box FBM to make a decision based on that.
Do you know anyone who does OA but avoids shoes? Yeah, tons of people. You can do OA in any category, like whatever's interesting to you.
Yeah, like even like video games, people are killing it with like video games, used electronics, all that kind of stuff. Like everyone has like a hobby as like an American consumer. You like buying something, and like, damn, conveniently you can sell it too.
Yeah, and for those of you guys who haven't found your first products and stuff, go to that category that you already know something about, because like you're into makeup. I know these niche brands or like all that kind of stuff is such a huge advantage.
Yeah, do retail arbitrage too if you're new. Like there's so much. Like a dude I know like made $12,000 profit in the past 4 days on a loop like that he found on his own. Like just all right. Like legit, he made his 4 month salary and he's in 3 days. Like it's crazy. Like
Best.
I mean, we got the whole wave of Q4 sellers waking up who have been doing nothing for the last 9 months, and they show up to do Q4 and go retire for another 9 months.
Bro, at some point in my next 10 years of life, I will chill for 8 months of them and just show up for Q4.
For sure.
Q4
at the end of my Amazon career. That's gonna be the my retirement send off.
Yeah.
You got to play in the All-Star game and then
that's
retire.
the All-Star game. Oh, the All-Star game would be lit.
Q4 is the All-Star game.
The ceremonial retirement entrance into the All-Star, like the Kobe. Someone asked about the best sections to use about Keep a Product Finder. In my opinion, the most value that Keep a Product Finder has is it allows you to dig deeper into specific brands, stuff that you already know works, right? So think of maybe a site that you want to dig deeper in, maybe a brand that you want to dig deeper in. It uses that data, it looks at that data, and you can kind of manipulate it into a way that creates more efficiencies in the way you source. And so, granted, with no experience, Keep a Product Finder is not going to really do much for you, because all it is taking the data that exists and filtering it in ways that make it easier to go through. But if you don't know what data you want to go through, if you don't know how to work with that data, if you don't know how to look at that data, it's not going to get you very far, right? There's no automation and keep a product finder, but there's a lot of filtering that's super powerful if used properly.
So somebody has asked this question a couple of times. So they're referencing what we were talking about earlier. Some of those listings where they might be ranked 200K, 250K, and because there's 0 FBA sellers. So this person's asking, did we source those leads from distributors or were they directly from brands? So in the examples, at least that I was thinking of off the top of my head, typically from distributors, because a lot of times they're going to be like old listings. They might even be duplicate listings, but for whatever reason, they've just been neglected, right? They haven't had an FBA seller on them in months, sometimes a year or more. And yeah, typically it's just going to be random listing of some random product from some random brand from a distributor.
Yeah, that goes for OA too. Like there's a ton of high sales rank products. Like here's a nugget is go to Keep a Product Finder and look for like 200 to 400K ranked products that have a high quantity of reviews. You'll find a bunch of stuff to like revive.
And that's that's really an entire niche in and of itself.
Yeah.
Back when I was using like AMZ Analyzer, Scan Unlimited, one of those tools like that, at one point we were filtering our price list from like highest rank first. And we were really like specifically targeting products that had no FBA sellers, and were poorly ranked, where we could come in and either just like undercut everybody on price and just really revive the listing, or just come in as a pure FBA offer and then revive the listing that way.
What's your review rate on sales? It's really low, Leighton. Below 1% is normal.
Yeah, it's like 1 in
every
100.
Every 200, 100, somewhere in there. Yeah.
I feel like for close, it's even lower. Like we're talking like 0.0. For whatever reason, I don't know why people don't like to review close. But we've gotten into a ton of like grocery and beauty stuff recently, and that just gets so many more reviews.
It's
I don't know
popping.
if I've ever noticed that, but that does check out. Like I've never, like between what we're selling, that's interesting.
Yeah, books is the highest by a mile.
Very true.
Yeah. Again, why?
I think people that read books are just like nice. They just like want to leave a review. I don't know.
Or if you do a bad job, they're gonna let you know. Like
right.
Can you list a product that has a different barcode on it from seller? Yeah, if it's the same product, like a lot of times the UPC that we're just pulling what Amazon's data has, right? So if the UPC is wrong on SellerAmp or the Amazon listing, it means the listing in general is wrong. As long as you're sending they're the correct product to them, you're good to go. And there's a lot of profit to be found there.
Yeah,
but
there's
Amazon
a lot
has
of
been
listings.
Yeah, that's true. But Amazon has been cleaning up some of those listings. So I know there are some products that like we currently carry. One where we just placed a reorder for that we had to cancel because we got a warning from Amazon basically saying that the G10 like tied to the listing doesn't match the UPC for that specific product in Amazon's database or in like the actual UPC catalog. So Amazon's basically told us, hey, we're pulling this listing in 30 days. So that is starting to happen on some listings where the UPC on the listing doesn't match the UPC for the specific product.
I was pretty worried about that like a year ago, and then they didn't really end up doing it the way. I mean, like every year, the people who freak out about everything were freaking out about it, and then here we go. I do 60K a month all wholesale and have a major superiority complex. You guys got to stop doing OA.
Right.
Saw an interview, girl making 30K a month, buy the products before ungating them. Yeah, that's what we do as well. Like people way overthink that stuff. Like you can submit whatever invoices you use to buy as long as you got 10 units.
It's a good question. What are some of the pros and cons of doing OA on shoes? So one of the big pros is I think the ease of finding things. There's so much profitability. There's so many profitable shoe listings. And the cool thing is when you find one variation, there's probably other sizes, colors, etc. under that same listing that are just as profitable. So you can really easily find SKUs that are profitable that work. And I think the big con is going to be the return, right? We're not going to be naive and say shoes and clothing get returned in equal frequency than any other category, right? They get returned more. And the best way to deal with that is to just account for it in the front, right? So increase your expected margin, expected ROI to account for the expected longer turnaround times on that money, the expected increased return percentage. And I think you'll be fine doing either.
This is a good question from Dylan. He's got products that aren't selling as well as they should. Should you wait until the holidays or break even now? There's like, if you run into storage space, that's one thing, right? If you look back at the Keepa and you see the price go crazy last year, then maybe you do hold out. If the price didn't go crazy, then probably not. That's kind of the main thing. And we're making that decision with a lot of products right now, especially like shoes where price is way low, but every Christmas the price goes up. We're just going to hang on to those. But anything that's close, I would say sell so you can get the sales velocity going.
Which payment provider system is the best to use? You're just going to use Amazon's through your bank.
Not to mention going and finishing your point, Warner, that capital is going to be so much better off being spent next month and the month after, right? So getting that cash back to turn into stuff that you're buying at discounted rates in November is just going to be so much more valuable.
Yeah, the only reason you'd hold on at that point is, like you said, if those products spike traditionally during Q4.
Yeah. Which also is a capital thing. If you're capital crunched, you can't afford to sit on products for another 3 months.
You guys have any insights into ways to get buy box when math is being upheld and can't go lower than price with all sellers equal on price? How to get more buy box? That's interesting. That's something that's really that's kind of in terms of like the size of the sellers, right? I've joined listings where 4 or 5 sellers in the map buy box or tens of thousands of reviews, and it just takes time, right? It takes time to really get engraved into that buy box rotation. I don't know, Corey, do you got anything else?
Was this the question from Leighton? Sorry, I wasn't listening for a second.
Yeah.
So do you have any insights to get the buy box?
It's tough.
Okay. Yeah, it is tough. So a lot of times, like what we've started doing, like for example, there's a brand where we're one of, I think, 12 authorized sellers, and the brand does a pretty good job of policing it. And there's some listings from that brand that are profitable that we're considering selling. But when I look at the buy box share, there's 10 sellers on that listing at all times, all FBA, and 1 or 2 sellers dominate. They get like 80% of the buy box. They're bigger sellers. And I mean, we're not small sellers by any means, but just by looking at those percentages, we know that we're probably gonna have to tie up some cash in that product for a while before we start to get rotated in. So in the case of map protected products, again, always look at that data tab, see if the buy box is rotating. And a lot of times if there's a map policy and there's a bunch of sellers, it does rotate pretty evenly. So I don't know. It's brand specific. It's product specific. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just an algorithm thing. So you got to take it on like an ASIN by ASIN basis.
What's stopping a repricer from a race to the bottom? So you set a minimum with your repricer. So that's it, like exactly what stops it. Damn, Chad Tyler right there. So if I ever saw someone who would succeed with this, their name, you would have it, my friend. Is it similar to day trading? I guess kind of. It's all numbers based, but you have like the statistics of people who make money day trading over like a 10-year time period. I think it's like 99% of people don't even beat the S&P 500. It is incredibly hard to lose money selling like name brand products.
If you're coming from doing like technical analysis and that kind of stuff, like you'll the skills will translate a lot and things are way more predictable.
Can you provide more context on how to scale with OA? Do you only buy 10 of a product? So the real scalability comes when you're going deeper, right? When you have the confidence, the competence, and the experience to be able to go deeper and take advantage of some of those products, right? That comes with validating with merchant fulfill with FBM, right? Getting that feedback in 2 or 3 days as opposed to 3 weeks, right? And it comes with just naturally getting comfortable with what you're looking at in terms of the product. And then just scaling that, right? So not buying 5 by buying 50, not buying 10, buying 100, and actually being able to take advantage of when a good product is great and when a great product is really good. You know what I'm saying?
Grayson had a good question. I think this is pretty common that a lot of newer sellers probably have. So he said, generally confused on how people are scaling to 5 or 6 figures. You need hundreds of products. The answer is no. That's definitely a big misconception. Some people think you need a huge inventory to scale to any significant size. I think it depends on your business model. Some people do have hundreds of listings that are, 6, 7 figure sellers. I can speak for us. I mean, in our wholesale business, I think right now we have 70 active ASINs, possibly even less. And we do like about 300K a month right now in revenue. So it's more so, and if you're selling higher price products, you don't need as many ASINs. If you're selling faster moving products, you don't need as many ASINs. So it's business model specific, but no, you don't need hundreds of products to scale.
Yeah, less ASINs also is easier to manage, so you can reprice your products more often, and there's so much speed that you gain by having less products.
Yeah, the riches are in the niches though, because it's very hard to find stuff you can rip on heavy that other people aren't gonna find, but that's why you need to be doing what other people aren't.
And not to mention, you have that sort of like compounding effect with lesser ASINs, right? Being longer term on products when your buy box percentage starts to compound, right? Going from 10% in 30 days to 12% in 60 to 20% in 90. You see that sort of compounding effect where without even expanding your catalog, your product ownership is expanding simply by just being long term and stable on those listings.
Nah, Grayson, you can, from like a vast majority of websites, especially bigger retailers, you can buy as many as you want. And sometimes maybe you might trigger off like a fraud report in their system, but if they trust you, like a lot of retailers are cool with it. And like if you're making like, under 100K a year right now, like that with like profit, like that's the least of your worries. Like we gotta, get after it. I'm a traditional hype sneaker seller. I have about 400 pairs. Do you think I should Christmas dump and go completely FBA? No. However, I think you should start it on the side. And like you're super situated nicely, like where it can like super work really well for you. So I would sell like 50 of them, right? Nice thing about shoes is they're incredibly liquid, so you can get cash quick. So, dude, Amazon's going to work big for you when you commit to it. It's just taking time to commit to it.
Yeah, sneaker seller. It clicks faster for sneaker sellers than like maybe coming from any other like hustle or whatever.
Oh, that's the elite. That's elite Amazon seller genetics right there. Yeah, that is elite Amazon. Now,
because it becomes easier to source your stuff and it sells faster.
Yep. If Amazon is on the listing, will my product sell? If you can see the competition going down, yes. If you can see that Amazon's sharing the buy box via going to data and then buy box statistics on Keepa, yes. If not, then no.
And that's a big one, right? It's the percentage of sales that Amazon's not owning, right? If Amazon's owning 100% of the sales, 100% of the buy box, then that might not be a good opportunity. But there's a bunch of listings, hundreds of listings at Dog Time, where Amazon is on 70%. And so what do you quantify that 30% ownership to in terms of actual tangible sales in comparison to how many sellers are also competing with those 30%?
He was just passed out. I woke him up.
Oh, he's playing dead again. It's a big body Benz, though.
He is.
It's the traditional end of Money Monday showing from.
This is how you know we're wrapping up.
Yep.
Yeah, Amazon gives you tax forms. Yeah, Grayson, man, if you're not already making money, just start making money. You'll figure out all that stuff later. Like, you're really worried about the end game. Like, you're worried about swimming in the Olympics when you haven't like started treading water. You know what I mean? Like, you start small, low risk, and you'll figure it out.
Say bye, George.
I came from sneaker reselling and it was very comparable. I'd never recommend hype reselling again after doing Amazon. Definitely not looking back.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's a lot of sneaker resellers who would say the same.
Facts.
Any resources on tax implications, FBA, FBM? Beyond like sales, beyond like prep centers being able to get 0% for FBA, you can think about that. But yeah, Amazon takes care of pretty much all that for you if you're asking about tax forms.
How am I seeing Fields of Profit in 2 live videos because we're all streaming individually?
Wait. He said it. Yeah. How? Right there. Yeah.
Have you guys seen Amazon's direct loans yet? Or are they only doing third parties now? So I don't know what you mean by direct loans. If you just mean by like an Amazon loan. So we've taken one. We took one back in 2020. And I think everybody on this call has taken one before. Is that right?
I got a couple. Yeah.
I have a line of credit. I've never taken the loan, but I've taken the lines of credit.
Took me forever to get offered one.
Yeah, they're super good. They're great sources of funding for you guys because Amazon can see your sales and give you way more money than like a traditional bank would.
Yep.
However, the rumor that you can't get banned if you have an Amazon loan is not true. So I don't think that's going to protect you.
It definitely,
but it logically makes sense. Yeah.
I feel like Scott started that rumor. Scott Needham. He was one of the first ones that I remember talking about it on his podcast.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes sense on paper, but I definitely know people that have gotten banned with outstanding loans, and then you're really screwed because they still they still
come and knocking.
They're being frugal. Yeah, they are being frugal with the loans. I don't even have one right now, and my last one was only like 20 grand or something.
Jeez.
I think
my lines of credit I have 2 of them at $250,000 on the lines of credit though. They're just stingy with the loans right now.
Yeah, only sell listings that already have listings, especially as you're a beginner. Right there, you know what I mean? You need to be having that seller amp and keep it data mix. Good stuff. What motivates you guys to teach and help people instead of gatekeeping? Very selfishly, I want to make money. I want to grow seller amp. Right? Unselfishly, I know that, and selfishly, if I want to make money, I have to help you guys. Right? It's a beautiful thing. Business is the biggest win-win in the whole world. If you play a sport, someone has to be the winner, someone has to be a loser. Not in business. We can all get rich, ladies and gents, right? You're incredibly blessed beyond your wildest dreams to be alive in the internet era. Your grandparents would kill to be able to make money as easily as we can make money. If you can consistently shut down TikTok, avoid seed oils, and listen to us, you'll make money.
I second
think
that, and I
that's
think the other reason too. Again, this is both selfishly and unselfishly, but I know that since I've started really, I guess, teaching, if you want to call it that, at the beginning of this
Comes
year,
back
I
so
feel
much
like
heavier.
So
well
much
that,
better.
but I feel like I know the business 10 times better now.
Yep.
Like I pretty much
Yeah.
just all of us pretty much just talk about the same things, just 1,000 different ways.
Yep.
And the more we talk about the business, the more we teach, the more we do calls like this, the more it reinforces our own knowledge, and which helps us get even better at it. And it's kind of like a flywheel. So
And just
that's
attract other
definitely
smart people that are inevitably going to teach
Yeah.
you something at some point.
It's biological too. Like, how do the fish swim around the ocean? Do they fish on their own to go find food? No, they swim in a school, right? Where's my coaching program hosted on? School. It's biological, right? You have to hunt in packs. Yeah, it all fits together right there. Cool. All right, sweet. Okay, well,
I think that's a good note to end it on there.
Yeah, it's
Person's
biological, right? You
losing it.
hunt in packs. Yeah, tribes, right?
It's biological.
Yeah.
Where is
It
my
is.
program?
It
hunting?
is though, right? That's why the people that are doing this on their own are the unhappiest, and the dudes doing it with the boys are the happiest, right there.
Yep. Good. That's I think it's a good note to end on there.
yeah.
Everybody go find your tribe. That's the takeaway. Find 2 or 3 other Amazon sellers, free groups, the roadmap, wholesale challenge, wherever you're finding people. Talk to 2 or 3 other Amazon sellers. You're going to want to have it this Q4, and let's make a bunch of money this December. Let's do it, boys.
Stretching with that analogy right there. Q4secretsauce.com.